Mish Daniel from Fast Track Commercial. So I'm going to speak to you today about the 5 biggest mistakes that people make in commercial property, because in commercial property it really is a very different animal to residential investing, and they're many moving parts, and people can be really hurt not knowing the right things to be doing, to be asking, to be saying, to be looking for. So and I thought I would do a post on the 5 biggest mistakes that people make in commercial property. So having said that, let's jump straight into it, and let's go with point number 1. So point number 1 would be due diligence. Now, commercial real estate, there is a whole lot of due diligence required depending on what type of building it is, depending on what type of tenancy in. Now, in residential, essentially, you've got 2 areas of due diligence. You've got the property itself with build and pest or strata, whatever it is, and you've got the area around it. Now, in commercial real estate, you've got 5 different areas of due diligence, which would be the building, which would be the area, which would be the lease, the financials, the tenancy, and a whole lot of areas over and above that. So building and pest, strata titling, and depending on the type of building that it is, we would look into various different areas beyond those 5. So those are basically your 5 categories, and then you've got 5 subcategories in that. So that is point number 1. Point number 2 is, in commercial real estate, I see people making a huge mistake by using their banks, by going to their banks and asking for finance, or going to their brokers who they like, they've got a nice relationship with, and their brokers have helped them out buy a very nice house or residential property. Well, in commercial real estate, we say use specialists, and use specialists in commercial financing. And the reason we say that is because commercial brokers have got a particular relationship with commercial lenders. Now, your commercial lenders sit in a totally different place to your residential lenders. Okay, they work very differently, and they're different relationships. So most definitely, point number 2 is work with commercial specialists when it comes to lending. So commercial brokers that are specialists in commercial real estate. Then point number 3 is size of property. Now, a lot of people just want to start off with something small, just get their feet wet to feel it out, and they go off and they do a lot of searching and hunting and due diligence and working on a deal, and lots of energy goes into that. And when they get to the lending part, they find out that the property is too small, that maybe it's a great office or something like that. And in commercial lending, there's criteria involved, and you need to know that anything less than, say, 50 square meters, you cannot get lending on it. Okay, so the commercial lenders have got reasons for that, and I'm not going to go into all those reasons right now. However, it's just a mistake that people make, spending a lot of time and effort in that area, and then, you know, it not amounting to anything, that you can't actually lend on that property. So be aware of that. And then point number 4 is, there are a lot of commercial properties out there that have got high yields. Okay, so be aware that if you're finding a property that is maybe a 9, 10, 11% yield, something like that, it's not a matter of thinking there's something wrong with the property. It's more a matter of, is it market related? Because if your yield is exponentially high, it means that the rental is pretty high. So are you going to be buying a property that has got a very high yield, that is going to be short-lived? And if that is the case, then you need to be doing a market evaluation or a market rental of that property, and make sure you don't make that mistake. So there are ways and means of getting around that. So that would be point number 4. Okay, so point number 5, just like it's important to be using specialists in commercial lending, you're wanting to be using solicitors who are commercial specialists as solicitors for legals. And the reason for that is because a commercial lease is a legal binding document, and your solicitor needs to go through that document and make sure that everything stacks up in your favor, or that it's fair, basically. Now, it's often the little points and the little keys that are missed out here. And if you're not using a solicitor who's au fait with commercial leases, it could amount to quite a lot in the long term. It could hurt you down the line. So those are my 5 points of the biggest mistake that people make in commercial real estate. I hope that's helped you, and I hope you've enjoyed this post. Tune into Mish Daniel Commercial on either Facebook, or go along and have a look at the website, Mish Daniel Commercial, and you'll see a lot of hints and tips. There's a webinar on there. I post a lot of videos, so you can see a world of videos to learn from, and lots more hints and tips that you can get on there. Thank you for watching.